Good afternoon, students, faculty, members of the community, and friends of UVU, as well as our honored guests that we have here. My name is Christopher Lang. I am the Senator for the College of Science and Health here on UVUSA, and we have a special opportunity to hear the wonderful Rudy Ruettiger speak today. Beforehand, though, our president, President Holland, would like to take a couple minutes, so I'll turn the time over to him.
First of all, UVUSA. We've got some great student officers this year. They're really working hard. I'm extremely proud of them. And this event is just typical of the great things they're doing this year. So I really want to commend them for the extraordinary work that they're doing. I know you're not here to listen to me today, but I just when I heard that this was going on, I wanted to participate. I love the movie Rudy. It's inspired me for a long time, and I've passed this on to my son Jake, who's here today. We busted him out of Orem Elementary, and so he thinks he's now doubly loves Rudy because Rudy had been an inspiration to him before because of the movie, and now the guy's gotten him out of school for a little bit. So he thinks this is the ultimate. So, Rudy, we're really looking forward to hearing from you. You're going to be properly introduced now, but I just wanted, on behalf of the full university and from the President's office, say how grateful we are to you for being here today and what an inspiration you are to so many of us. Thank you.
I forgot to mention, I apologize, I'd like to give a special welcome to Payson High School football team, who they heard about Rudy and decided to come and enjoy of it. So thank you for coming, Payson High School. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with special honor that I get to introduce Rudy Ruettiger. Against all odds, on a gridiron in South Bend, Indiana, Daniel Rudy Ruettiger, in 27 seconds, carved his name into the history books as perhaps the most famous graduate of the University of Notre Dame. The son of an oil refinery worker and third of 14 children, Rudy rose from valleys of discouragement and despair to the pinnacles of success. Today, he is one of the most popular motivational speakers in the United States. It took years of fierce determination to overcome obstacles and criticisms. Yet, Rudy achieved his first dream, to attend Notre Dame and play football for the Fighting Irish. As fans cheered, "Rudy, Rudy," he sacked the quarterback in the last 27 seconds of the only play in the only game of his college football career. He is the only player in the school's history to be carried off the field on his teammates' shoulders. In 1993, TriStar Production immortalized his life with the blockbuster film Rudy. Rudy received 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert and continues to inspire millions worldwide. He has recently established the Rudy Foundation, whose mission is to help children of all ages around the world receive their full potential. The Rudy Foundation develops and supports programs that positively impact the lives of children, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. The Rudy Award program was created by the Rudy Ruettiger Foundation to recognize children who make an outstanding, exceptional effort to do their personal best every day, overcoming obstacles, setting goals, staying on track to reach their dreams, and building the qualities of character, courage, contribution, and commitment into their lives every day. Before I bring Rudy on stage, I have a short video presentation that I would like to show.
After high school, I'm going to play football at Notre Dame.
Chasing a stupid dream causes nothing but you and everyone around you heartache.
The problem with dreamers is they usually are not doers.
Are you fully aware of the sacrifices you're going to have to make?
It's the most beautiful campus in the world.
Having dreams is what makes life tolerable.
Notre Dame is for rich kids, smart kids, great athletes. It's not for us.
Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to go to school here. And ever since I was a kid, everybody said it couldn't be done. I always listened to them, believed what they said. I don't want to do that anymore.
Hey, kid! Not supposed to be here.
Not everyone is meant to go to college.
I need your help.
How should I help you?
I just want to be a part of this university.
You're nuts.
Yeah, a lot of people have been telling me that lately.
Sometimes a winner is a dreamer who just won't quit.
Hey, you guys! My son's going to Notre Dame!
I'm here to play football for the Irish.
I wish God would put your heart in some of my players' bodies.
You're 5 feet nothing, 100 and nothing, and you got hardly a speck of athletic ability. In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself.
A true story from the creators of Hoosiers.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
It is with special privilege and honor that we of UVUSA are here to welcome a personal hero of mine, Rudy Ruettiger.
Oh, thank you very much. Wow. That's a thank you. This is great. Hey, congratulations to your neighbors, huh? BYU beating Oklahoma. Hey, you all stick together, right? It doesn't matter whether you're anyhow. Chris, great job. Great job. He was telling me about his mission. When he went on a mission, he lost 85 pounds and how he did it. I said, wow, dude, can I call you every day just to keep me going? I said, that'd be great. He's just a great inspiration, great young man, a great President Holland. For you to be here today with your staff and your son bringing him out of school tells me a lot about your leadership and about these young leaders here. And also some young lady who decided to come back to school at a later age. Congratulations, by the way. I think there's so many great opportunities to do when you have the right attitude. And today, I'm not going to talk to you about Rudy playing football. I only played 27 seconds, so there's not a lot to talk about. But there is a lot to talk about life. You know, it's interesting. A lot of people ask me, was the movie true? It's a good question. Then a lot of people would ask me about certain characters in the movie. Were they really like that? And it's a good deal to ask because I would be curious too. On the way over here today, because Michigan and Notre Dame's playing this weekend, I get a phone call from a radio station in Michigan. And of course, you know where they're going. They want to know all the details about that Notre Dame football team, and then they want to know a lot about the movie. I was telling Chris, you know, you can control everybody's attitude through your attitude. If you allow people to take you where they want you to take you, then you're not in control of your life. When you believe in something, you believe in what you do and who you are, you're always in control of your thoughts because your thoughts will change your life. Your thoughts will change your life. And that's what I'm here to talk to you today about. I guess it's what if I would have said it's not worth it? What if I would have quit? What if I said, well, that's not for me? Just what if? It's a big what if. If you can cut out this in your vocabulary cut out goofy thoughts, a goofy thought. For an example, I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada from Indiana after the movie, and I'm giving a speech, and I'm telling this group of people, I'm one of 14. Are you Mormon? No, I'm Catholic. I wasn't sure where he was going with that. So when I found out about why he said that, I kind of chuckled. I laughed. I said, oh, boy, you guys are funny. Asked me that because we believe in big families, too. You know, when growing up in a big family creates a lot of different levels of thoughts. Being the third oldest of all my brothers and sisters, I remembered when I was trying to tell my dad I wanted to go to Notre Dame. This is kind of like understanding a goofy thought. Let me tell you what a goofy thought is, so you can come. A goofy thought can ruin your moment. You know that, right? A goofy thought can ruin your opportunity, correct? A goofy thought can ruin a great little moment that you want, and a goofy thought comes to you, and you dwell on that goofy thought, and your dream goes away. See, a goofy thought is given to you by friends, TV, media, books you read, music you listen to. That's how goofy thoughts are brought into you. And my dad, who's a wonderful man, worked 3 jobs. My mother controlled the family. She was the inspiration to the family. And I knew that because she told me so. And how she told me so was this. There's 4 things your parents teach you while you're growing up. Character. It's very important. Have character because you make the right choices. Have courage to do the things that you want to do, and the things that you desire to do, the things that you want to manifest to the level of what you dream about. That's courage. And commitment, sticking to the goals that you dream about and that people give you. Sticking to them and not quitting. Then being able to have that attitude of contribution, giving back. Very important to create the full person. And that's what you all stand for, and that's what people remember you for, is your character. They don't really remember you for what religion you were, or they don't remember how many touchdowns you scored. They don't remember who you were in a certain sense. They remember what you stood for and how you treated people. And it's interesting because prayer is the most powerful thing in the world, prayer. You don't pray to get something. You don't pray, please, Jesus, please give me the good grade I deserve, you know? Or please give me the football game that I want to win. It's about getting closer to your Creator, to your spiritual side. And once I understood that, my whole life changed. So this is how I got rid of my goofy thoughts. See, my father, who would say things to me like, we would go to church on Sunday. We had to have our shoes polished. That's number 1, right? Have your shoes polished. Have your underwear folded before you went to church the next day. That's my mother, right? Have your socks folded and your underwear folded and all your clothes laid out before you went to church on Sunday. That's a Saturday night routine. So we were used to that. And I thought it was stupid. I thought, this is how I tell my friends. He said, boy, you got weird parents. That's how they would come back. And I started believing my dad was weird. In fact, when we go to church, my dad would say things like, now, boys, none of you boys turn around in church today. You better not. You will turn to stone. I believed him because he was very firm on that, right? My mother says, and you better not talk either because your ears will fall off. So how do you go to church? As a stone man and your ears falling off? Because you're tempted to turn around and talk if you get interested in something, right? Terrible way to go to church. It's called fear. See, my mother would always say to us boys, you'll find a good girl in church. My first thought was, how if you can't turn around? You know that. So she didn't really connect with me. And my mother, like I said, my mother got to understand they were teaching family fundamentals the way they were taught. And sometimes where we were taught, we kind of stick to those spots and we don't change and we don't adjust and we don't bend and we don't become flexible. We stick to these thoughts and we become goofy thinkers too. Does that make sense? Because you could turn around in church, my goodness. And you could talk if you want to talk. It's okay as long as you respect. You know, if you like something, you know, wow, that was great. That was great what he said. You know, what's wrong with that? Well, you can't do anything in the Catholic Church other than sit there like a stone man, right? Well, I want you to follow me with this. I called my mother one day as I got older and I got through Notre Dame, and because they told me, you're not smart enough to go to Notre Dame. Well, they were wrong. You don't have the SATs or ACTs to go to Notre Dame. Well, they were wrong. You are not fast enough to play football for Notre Dame. They were wrong. You're not big enough to play for Notre Dame. They were wrong. The reason they were wrong, because I didn't listen to that information anymore. Therefore, I didn't hear that noise and hear those goofy thoughts. So I went out and did what I believed in and felt and what I imagined, and I became the person I dreamt about. And I'm going to talk to you about that. But let's get back to something about your family values that's very, very important, I think, because everything your family teaches you will pay off if you stick to the game, the rules of the game. And it's not easy. It's not easy. You know, it's funny when I asked my mother, how come you and Dad never argued? You must have a perfect marriage. She looked right at me. She said, son, there is no perfect marriage. And there's no perfect relationship. The only perfect person is God, and you're going to meet him someday, so you better get in preparation to be perfect. So you got to work on that every day. And she says, besides, your father and I argue all the time. I says, when? She says, well, you know, we made a commitment to each other never to argue in front of you children. We always argued up in the bedroom. That's why there's 14 of you. So we knew there was inspiration behind those thoughts. So you guys get it, right? You tell a Catholic audience, they get mad. But that's my mother's thoughts, right? Now here's the other side of my father. After the movie was out in 1994, by the way, it took me 10 years to get the movie made, to have 5 minutes in front of a decision maker. 10 years to get in front of a decision maker. Is that a long time? A long time. But it was worth it, correct? What if I would have quit, though? I wouldn't be here meeting you, right? 10 years to play 27 seconds. Was it worth it? Absolutely. So everything you do takes time. So you all know that, right? Be patient. Understand there's a purpose for why things happen the way they happen. So anyhow, I get this phone call in South Bend, Indiana. And I pick up the phone with enthusiasm, because that's the way you should always pick up your phone, right? Even if you're having a bad day, project enthusiasm. And if you do that, you can change people's spots. And that's a lot of hard work, because you're thinking goofy when things are down, how bad everything is, and how bad, oh, I'm not good looking today. I never said you had to be good looking to be someone. So why are you worried about it? Look at me, you know? Come on, get real. It's your thoughts. Well, I'm not big enough. Who cares? I played, you could play. You could do whatever you want to do. Don't worry about how big you are. Or if you're so, who cares? As long as you try. And boy, I would always answer the phone with that type of attitude, because I believed I had a real passion about the human spirit. Because I believe you could do anything you want to do if you believed it and you did the work and you hung around the right people, do the right things and make the right choices. You're not going to make the right decisions all the time. If you make a mistake, that doesn't mean you're bad. You learn from them and move on. That was my thoughts. So I made a lot of mistakes, and I used to go, in the Catholic religion, we would go to confession every time we had a bad thought. I would be in confession 10 times a day. Every time I had a stupid thought, I would go see the priest, you know. He would tell me, Rudy, you're okay, son. You don't need to come and see me every 10 minutes. That's how goofy my mind was, right? Because I was hanging around the wrong people. So you all know the thing I'm saying. In 1994, I had a wonderful phone call from the White House. And you'll appreciate this. Not many times you get a phone call from the White House asking you to come and visit the White House and have dinner with the president and show your movie. That's a great opportunity. It's a great moment. But I got a goofy thought. And when I got that phone call, here's what happens when you store goofy thoughts. When you keep them and dwell on them, they'll ruin your wonderful moment. But that doesn't say you need to stay there. You can get rid of that thought. Just got to do a little work. You got to think quick on your feet, because you want to be positive. Positive thinking is very important. Now, I answer the phone, and the lady on the other end of that phone says, "Is this the real Rudy?" I said, yes, I am. It's wonderful, because I called the University of Notre Dame. We asked if there was a real Rudy. He said, yes, there is. And here's his number, because they found out who they were, and we need to contact Mr. Ruettiger because we would like him to come to the White House because the president's asking. And so you're the real Rudy. She got excited because I got excited. She said, yes, I am. And she got excited. It was awesome, right? So we're both excited. We don't even know why we're excited, but we're excited. And she said, the president wants you to come to the White House 2 weeks from Friday. Are you available? And I stopped. My thought stopped me. So, oh my God, my dad's going to be mad if he knows this is happening. Because every morning he goes to breakfast with his friends. They talk about the president because they listen to Rush Limbaugh, and they go and talk about the president, right? And they get mad when they come home until The Price is Right is on, or The Wheel of Fortune. And that's a thought that hit me, because my mother called me one day, your dad needs to change his friends. Your dad's got to quit coming home mad. Good, thank God The Price is Right is on, and The Wheel of Fortune. Then he gets happy. I said, but your dad's got to quit going to breakfast. And that's a thought that came in my head. Oh my goodness, he's going to get mad if he knows I need to go to the White House. He won't let me go. I'm 45 years old. And that thought's still there, right? So anyhow, as I'm going through that little miserable little moment, I stop and I say to the lady with confidence, I said, ma'am, here's what we need to do, because I'm fighting with this goofy thought. I said, you need to call tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. because my secretary will be here. I had no secretary. She didn't know that. She didn't know I was in my Notre Dame boxing shorts, right? She didn't know where I was answering the phone from. She thought I had a secretary. She says, great. 9 o'clock, I'll call back, and you will set all the arrangements. I said, great. Hung up the phone and said, oh, how am I going to get through this one? I got to call my father. But I'm going to call my mother because she's the inspiration to my father. I'm going to tell her to take him up in the bedroom, tell him where I need to go. When they get mad, maybe something good will happen. That's how I was thinking, right? That's how you go. That's how your life goes sometimes. But I also thought this other thought. Here's this other thought. I had a lot of goofy thoughts. Even though you get through them, you still get them. I thought back to 5th grade. When I was in 5th grade, I said, my teacher, what would she think? Because in 5th grade, 4th grade was fun. I can be anybody I want to be in 4th grade. 5th grade changed. All of a sudden, it's about education, not inspiration. It's about, you got to know this or you'll be nobody. Well, I didn't know I needed to know what they said I needed to know to be somebody, and I found out I didn't know any of that to be someone. Because I still don't know the 5th president. She called me dumb in front of all my classmates. When she asked me the 5th president, she gave us a homework assignment. Listen to this. Thursday night, the night the Yankees were playing Boston. Now we're big Yankee fans. Boston, Yankees playing Boston. Notre Dame and Green Bay Packers. That's the religion in our house. You do nothing when those teams play. My father, that's my father. And when she gave us that homework assignment of the first 5 presidents, I said, I'm not going to study those presidents. The Yankees are playing. There's no way. I said, that's my thought. I thought, how am I going to study when the Yankee, Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle? If my teacher was tuned in to who I was and said something like, now, Rudy, I know you're going to go listen to the Yankees tonight. And I know who the first 5 batters are. So those are the first 5 presidents. She would have said that, I would have learned them, right? Because that's inspiration. Well, I went home and listened to the Yankees game, didn't care about the first 5 presidents. And who do you think she picks on the next game? Because Mickey Mantle hit a home run in the 14th inning, whatever. Mickey, Roger Maris, they won the game. I come to school happy and excited. I'm sitting in the front. She picks on me because I'm excited. She knew I didn't do my homework. So she's going to embarrass me in front of all my friends. Now, how many of you all know the 5th president? Just curious. Monroe. Give him a hand, man. That's beautiful. I didn't know that. And you know what? Now all these guys know the 5th president, James Monroe, but I didn't know that until I went to the White House. And I had to be asked by a president to go, right? My dad had a good night with my mother, so he gave me permission to go to the White House. So I go to the White House with a great attitude, but I had another goofy thought he laid on me because he gave me permission. And the permission was, son, I know I can't stop you. I know you're going to go, but do me a favor and find out who runs that White House seat. That's the agenda when you have goofy thinkers, right? So I store it in there. So I'm not going to find out who runs it. I got permission. I'm not going to find out who runs that White House. And I'm going back to 5th grade, too. I don't even know the 5th president, so I hope they don't ask me. Stupid thinking. I get to the White House. Ladies and gentlemen and great Americans, as you walk into that White House, into that foyer, guess what? All the president's pictures are hanging up. All you have to do is be asked by a president, and you can count to number 5. And now you know the 5th president. I was so excited. I was so worried. God, I hope a senator that doesn't ask me any history questions or who the presidents were. Not one senator, not one congressman, not one friend of the president asked me any of those questions. They never even asked me my class rank. Good thing they didn't. I was 3rd in my class from the bottom when I graduated from high school. Good thing they didn't ask me that. My goodness, all these goofy thoughts just went out the door, and I was looking around, I was celebrating. You know that personal little victory you have within yourself when you find out something you should have known that you do know? Now you want to tell everybody that you do know, and no one cares? What you know? What is going on? People don't care what you know. They only care how much you care. What kind of courage and character you have, and commitment and contribution attitude. That's why I'm there. They weren't asking me how smart I was. That was awesome. I got so excited about Rudy, and I wanted to tell everybody, but I couldn't. But I had confidence. And as the First Lady come walking into that foyer, she said, Rudy Ruettiger, we're so excited to have you here. And I turned around, and that thought hit me. My father's goofy thought came right to the forefront. Oh my God, lady, you run the White House. Look, that's a terrible thought to have in that moment. You shouldn't have that thought. But that's what you fight every day, are goofy thoughts. So you got to know how to get rid of them. Celebrate your goofy moments with great little moments of victory. I know the 5th president. Awesome. No one really cares, but I know now. And you have confidence, so you don't care who runs the White House because you know the 5th president. What does that do for you? It's like when that drill sergeant, when I jumped off the bus in Chicago, Illinois, cold winter day in January, there were 20 of us who just swore into the United States Navy. As I jumped off the bus, he yelled, "All you dummies over here," and I ran first. Because I thought he was talking to me. I had a self-fulfilling prophecy. I was a dummy because my teacher called me dumb in front of all my friends, and I focused on that, and I quit studying. I focused on why I couldn't learn, because I couldn't read like my other friends, because I have dyslexia. I don't know how to handle it. I just thought I was stupid. And I thought I had this attention deficit disorder they say you had. I didn't know I had. Now I know I have. I didn't know that was an attention disorder deficit. I had no idea until you told me it was. I got excited about a dream. I focused on it, got it done. And I wasn't, even when we said the family rosary after dinner, I didn't have no attention deficit disorder, because if I didn't know the 5th glorious mystery, I got whacked. I knew the focus. My point is, prayer is very powerful. And all these goofy thoughts people put in between your 6 inches, I'm going to tell you, get rid of those people. Don't hang around them. You can be anybody you want to be. Go wherever you want. I still haven't taken my SATs. And I went to Notre Dame. And I graduated from Notre Dame. I was still 3rd in my class from the bottom in high school. And I still ran the 40. And when I'll never forget that coach yelling out, 5'7". Said, "Sir, I'm 5'6". Said, "Dude, that's your speed." He's always reminding you of your deficiencies, not the fact that you were trying. Rudy, get off your knees. I am. They always try to put you down. I'm saying to you, people who do not how to empower will give you goofy thoughts. Those are the people you do not surrender to. You surrender to the people that pick you up and empower you. You stick to the music that empowers you, that makes you feel good and powerful. You watch the movies that give you good messages. You do the things that are important. You make a commitment. You go on a mission. You go and you make new choices and new decisions and you commit. And you don't settle for anything less. That's character. That is spirituality. You're moving closer. And what's great about the fact that even when I went up to the Blue Room and met all his friends, I even gave the tie to the president. He loves ties, and put his arm around me, and I was his best friend. My teacher still wasn't asked to come. And I guess I'm not that dumb now, am I? That man made me feel good and powerful in front of all his friends. I felt like I can conquer everything and be the person I wanted to be. I got a new dream around powerful people who know how to empower. I dreamt about becoming a great speaker. I don't know how that dream came, but it just came. I saw myself speak in front of thousands of people as I'm sitting in his Oval Office. And before the Oval Office, I got to sit in a movie theater in the White House with 69 of his friends. And the movie starts, and I guess I got full of myself for a couple minutes because the guy next to me was whispering, talking during my movie. You don't talk during my movie, dude. Took me 10 years to get this thing made. Took me 10 years to play 27 seconds. Don't talk during my movie. That's the goofy thinking I'm having. And I'm getting mad and angry. How do you handle anger? Well, you pray. Because my mother said when you get mad, you pray. In the Catholic religion, we said the rosary because we had to focus. So we focused, and I said 10 rosaries so I wouldn't hit that guy sitting next to me. That's a lot of rosaries. I got to tell you, it's a good thing I did. Because after the movie, the First Lady stood up and said, every kid in America must see this movie. That guy next to me says, I'm a Jew. Rudy, I'm a Jew, and I'm not supposed to be what I'm doing and where I'm at. Your movie parallels my life. And I looked at him and said, thank you, Lord. I didn't hit this guy or pull his suspenders back or choke him because Larry King would have wrote a terrible story about me. It's your perception. It's how you handle your thoughts. See, I wouldn't look at him during the movie because I was afraid I would hit him. I had to pray. My point is, it's not as bad as you think. It's not what you think someone is saying something about you. It's your goofy thoughts that are taking you there. It's how you think of yourself that's taking you to that arena that you shouldn't be in. You all have an opportunity to be great in your moment, and that's what you have. You have a great moment to be the best you can in your moment right now. There's no excuses not to be that. No excuse. No matter, it doesn't matter what happened to you 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes from now. Right now is the moment you can change your thoughts that will change your life. And that's when I understood that. My whole life changed. And that's why my friends never hung around me that were negative anymore, because they couldn't come around me because I was too positive. They called me weird, just like the drill sergeant that called me stupid. And when I jumped back in line because he says, y'all stupid, I got excited. 20 dummies just like me. That's a big moment. And now he puts you in charge of those 20 dummies because you knew how to shine shoes, fold your underwear, fold your socks, and make your rack. He put you in charge of all those dummies. He made you a leader. And you got confidence. And you thought good of yourself because you're a leader of 20 dummies. I met a young man here today who was an ex-Marine. And he fought to get in the Marines because he made some mistakes while he was young, but he overcame and ended up serving in the Marines, serving his mission. Now back in college, that's a great American. Give him a hand. for doing that. That's what it's about. Fight. You're not a bad person if you make a mistake. Just don't do it again. You learn from it. You don't live in the past. You know, there's so many wonderful moments. And like, I want to bring to you an imagination moment. If you don't mind playing the second video of this great little journey, I want to, if we could do that, it'd be great. It's called Your Imagination Moment. This is the magic right here when you're born. You're given the imagination. It's a gift. You're limitless in your thoughts. You're limitless where you can go, and your family members and your closest siblings will encourage you to be great. The courage that they have and the courage that you are now developing is because of the thoughts that are given to you. You feel it. It becomes a belief level. You start dreaming about becoming the person you want to be, of where you want to go, of what you can be. See, it's all a belief level of your dream, of how your dream is given to you, and how you encompass those thoughts and embrace those thoughts. The impossible are possible when you have good thoughts. The impossible dream is nothing but passion. When you have passion, you have a great attitude and great thoughts, and you see life differently, and you see people differently, and you look at opportunity differently. You look at obstacles as opportunity, and you have determination that comes automatically when you have a dream and passion that comes to you, because you will manifest that desire to stretch to your dreams and goals. And when you do that, you are being the person you want to be, because you start visualizing that moment. You start visualizing where you want to be, who you want to be around. And you don't need much to do that. So don't let people tell you you need a lot to be someone. You need a dream in your imagination. You need goals, and you got to persevere through all those goofy thoughts that people laid on you, and that people keep trying to put on you through media, through newspapers, through all these different ways of media attention. Climb that mountain with good thoughts. Climb that mountain with character and courage to inspire the people, the young people, to inspire the old, to inspire the people who have dreams. Reach for your dream. Be the example. When you reach for your dreams, you inspire. They see you overcoming obstacles. They see you overcoming situations with great attitudes. They see you overcoming adversity. And by the way, don't look for adversity. Guess what? It's already here. You got to deal with it in a positive way, in a positive moment. Don't let adversity take you over. You can handle it. Inch by inch, step by step. Good thoughts. Thoughts will get you there. Action will get you there. That's why I say everybody in this room has dreams. Everybody has limitless thoughts, if you allow it. People will stop you from being the person you want to be if you don't see that light at the end of that tunnel. The light is your inspiration. The light is your future. And I say this from my heart, because I believe when you're tenacious, being the person you want to be, you will go back to the fundamentals of life. Just like when I saw the movie Rocky. He was given a second chance. He wasn't given the best punching bag or the best equipment. He was given a chance of hope. When he had hope, he worked hard. He did what was important. I got inspired by those messages in that movie, and I watched Rocky over and over and over again, and I got the vision of making the movie Rudy. I see that everybody has a story. The greatness inside all of us must be given back to society. We must tell people we all have messages of hope. We can be anybody you want to be if we just stick to the fundamentals and our courage and our character and the greatness and our contribution attitude and our commitment to who we want to be, to what we must do. And get rid of the goofy thoughts. This is a journey we're on, and the only journey we're on. And the journey that we're on is a wonderful journey. But I got to tell you, it's not an easy journey. It's worth it. It's worth it. But you're going to be given challenges and struggles. That's your character. You will handle it. You will do it. You will do the impossible to most people, but it's possible to you because it's what you make of it. That's your attitude. Everything is attitude. And I say to you, and everything you do, what if you quit now? What if I would have quit? You don't quit because something's hard. You don't quit because something's difficult. You move towards the goal by getting around the people who want you to win. And sometimes those people who want you to win are going to be the toughest on you in a good way. Do the fundamentals. Do the right stuff. Go to school. Do your work. Don't cheat. Go to class. I know that for a fact. In high school, I cheated. Didn't get anywhere. Ended up third in my class from the bottom. At Notre Dame, I graduated from the community college with honors because the teacher, professor, when I walked in math class, I was afraid. I had fear when he said, how many of you young men want to go to Notre Dame? And I raised my hand with about a whole bunch of other guys. So it's great. We're going to get there. But you got to come to school every day. And you all get an A. Wow, that's different than my fifth grade teacher would say. If you don't know the fifth president, you're a dummy. This guy says, all you have to do is come to class. And you get an A. I'm in. Then he says, you got to do your homework. Your own homework. I can do that. I can do all that. Then he says, we're going to not have any tests. Wow, no test. Yeah, I'll tell you, I had more tests in that class than any class I ever had. But I didn't know they were tests because when we walked in, he didn't say it was a quiz. He says, okay, let's see what we learned yesterday. And by the way, if you don't understand what you learned, if you don't know something, ask a friend next to you to help you to find out what you need to know so you can get through today. I couldn't do that in high school. Wow, this is great. He was an inspiration. I got an A. Think about this. Are you all following me where I'm going? You all understand where I'm coming from? What's the greatest thing you could have is your attitude. You know, I'd like to give you this short story before I get to the final video. Many times I think about Sean Astin, the actor. I saw him in the movie Goonies. Mikey, I love that movie. I saw him in the movie Memphis Belle. I love that movie. I saw him in Encino Man. I love that movie. And one day I got this crazy phone call saying, we're going to do your movie Rudy. It's a good thing I watched Encino Man, Memphis Belle, and Mikey, Goonies. They were in search for a character to play Rudy. I said, I already got Rudy, the character. It's Sean Astin. They didn't know. Oh, no, he's not a box office draw. I said, no, he's the guy. He's the guy. Well, because I built a team of relationships and trust, we all agreed that we should at least cast him. And when we casted Sean, when he came to Chicago, we were up in a hotel room. I had my baseball cap on. I was wearing it backwards. He comes walking in the room with his hat on backwards. And the director says, wow, that's Rudy. So he got the part on his presence. But more, he got the part on his passion. His mother was Patty Duke. And he told us the stories of his obstacles and what he went through. His mother was bipolar and he had a tough time dealing with it. She went through some tough times of her life until she gave herself up to the Lord and her whole life changed. You know, it's interesting spiritually. When you do that, great things happen. If you give it up to the other side, bad things happen. That's our challenge. Your spiritual connection is so powerful. And Sean was not acting in the movie Rudy. That was Sean Astin. That is him. You know, many times I'm asked when I gave my first speech was in the White House. My second speech was to 4th and 5th graders. Here's how the White House, they clapped and yelled and they applauded me. They stood up, and just like the Congress speech last night, every other 5 minutes. That's what they did. Wow, I go to the 4th and 5th graders, I walk in, they were all mad when I walked in. They were silent when the teacher said, "Here's Rudy." They all looked. They were angry because one kid says, "Where is Rudy?" I said, "I'm Rudy." "How old are you, man?" I said, "I'm 90. So, "Wow, you look good." You know, all that. I said, "You're a fake." "No, I'm the real guy." Because they just watched the movie and saw Sean. They were looking for the Hobbit, not me. See, there's a difference. See, that's setting the kids up for success, I guess. And I kind of said, wow, these kids don't like me. One little girl says, "If you're Rudy, why are you fat?" You know, all these little ideas. So I said, "I'm not going to speak anymore, man. This is terrible. I'm in the White House now. I'm a nobody all of a sudden, right?" Oh, I got over that and gave another speech to a corporate American. This guy came up to me and says, "You're not a very good speaker." I said, "I know it. I got paid, you didn't, so have a seat." They always have an opinion of who you are and what you could be, right? And I guess that's a lesson I learned is you are someone. As long as you're best in your moment, you are someone and you will learn. So I want to share with you the last 5 minutes of the movie, Rudy. There's a word called preparation. You must be in preparation for your moment. And a word called expectation. You must expect great things to happen. And understand, preparation and expectation is the key. If we could play the last video, this is why this is important. If I would have quit, like I said earlier, I would never have this moment. Because of preparation and because of an attitude change, because of my changing my thoughts and get rid of my goofy thoughts and put the right people around me, this moment happened. Even though the moment's happening, but are you ready? Are you expected to do great things? But if you don't prepare every day to do great things and expect to do great things, you will not encompass and embrace that moment that's given to you. You all will be given that great moment, I promise you. Maybe in the lifetime that you're in preparation for every moment, for that great moment. You must be ready for that great moment. It's coming. And it may not be in a football game, may not be in a movie, but you will have it. Do not deny it. It's coming. And when it comes, you best be ready. It's going to be a wonderful moment. Because when I got in that football game, because of my expectations, because of preparation, it taught me a valuable lesson. Change my thoughts, it changes your life. It changes your friends and everything around you. And you get in that game like you expected because you're ready, because you practice day after day. And you practice like the All-Americans did. You didn't cheat your moment. You didn't cheat your little second. You worked as hard as they did, or if not harder. But when you put in that game, you were the fastest guy in that football game that day because your adrenaline took you there. Your special moment happens. Does everybody want you in that moment? No. But it's your moment. And it is fun. And you want more, but you don't know where to go. You just go in the game. You go in a position, you just take a position. Football's football. When the football moves, you got to go where the football is. Pretty simple. All I had to do was practice every day, move on the football, and go where the football is. That's the only play I knew. When that football moved, I moved. But I didn't move before it did. I only moved when that football moved. And I went right where the football was. That's pretty awesome. That was from preparation. That was from faith. That was from the spiritual movement. And when you're picked up by your teammates, and your teammates will pick you up, maybe differently, but they picked me up and put me on their shoulders. And they put me in the arms of Touchdown Jesus at the University of Notre Dame. And if you look at that movie, that's exactly where Sean Astin was lifted. No one told the filmmakers to do that. No one told the filmmaker, make sure you get touchdown Jesus. When you're connected, ladies and gentlemen, and great Americans, you're in the arms of Jesus every moment of every day. That's your preparation, and that is your expectation. And I say to you, football was fun. It was part of my life, but I have other dreams too. I got to go out and do other great things because that's what's expected of me and expected of you. You don't quit or not do another dream because you accomplished one dream. You know, it's like this young man says to me, he says, Rudy, can you call my father? He's going to pass and he has cancer. Just call him and say hi. Our family would be honored. It would mean a lot to my dad because our best moments is when we watched your movie Rudy together as a family. And we shared and we got excited. And so I called his dad. Didn't know what place he was before he was going to be passed on. I called him, finally got him during that moment, and his wife answers the phone, and here's how the phone call went. You never know the impact you have on people's life. She answers that phone. I said, it's Rudy. She said, oh, thank you for calling, Rudy. I said, well, how's Bernie doing? That was the man's name. She says, not good. We wanted to keep him going, but I think we almost lost him an hour ago, but he's still here, but he's still hanging in. Say hi to him. I share this with you because the yes I can attitude is so important. When she says, now you have to talk loud, when I put the phone up to Bernie's ear and I start talking loud, I said, Bernie, Rudy. He says, who? He says, Bernie, it's Rudy. He says, who? I says, Bernie, it's Rudy from Notre Dame. He said, are you shitting me? And he woke up. He lived 2 more days. The adrenaline of hope. He spent 2 more days with his family. My point is, you never know what you mean to people. Your attitude, your character, everything you're about means something. So, yes, I have stories, so do you. Just like Chris has his story, and this young Marine has his story, and President Holland has his story, Jacob has his story. Everybody has a story. I want to say to you, thank you for allowing me to come here and be part of your family and say thank you for being great Americans and great lovers of Jesus Christ. Thank you very much. I will be there at that table over there. I will have a picture of me being carried off the field, the real carry off. You could purchase it for $20. I'm sorry, but that's all I'm worth. But that goes right to my foundation, for the Rudy Foundation. We've been there. We've been doing it for 10 years, giving back to middle schools. Now we're into Collegiate 1 football. We're at 53 universities involved in the Rudy Award. We'd love for you to be involved with that too. Go to rudywards.com. We give scholarship money back to the universities in the name of that athlete who demonstrates courage, character, commitment, and contribution. I'm so excited about that. Now we got another wonderful thing going. We're going around the country. We're talking about successful thinkers. We're so excited. Just Think Successful will be there. And I will be happy to sign anything you have. If you wish to contribute, that's great. If not, I'm still your buddy. I still love you. And Basin High School, let's beat them this year. Let's win. Let's go. What do you say? Thanks for coming. God bless you and all your dreams. Thank you very much.